In 2007, Jay Holiday made such a strong debut that many artists can only dream of. His first album climbed high on the charts and his songs were being played on the radio non-stop. Jay was being called as the next big R&B artist. People were excited to see his stuff, but then due to poor management, his career fell and he's been struggling to rise since then. Hello everyone and welcome to True Celebrity Stories. Are you also wondering where did Jay Holiday go after delivering a mega hit like Bed? Fret not, today we'll be discussing all about Jay Holiday's life and what is he up to now. Before we get started, don't forget to like, comment and share. Also, subscribe and hit the bell icon so you'll never miss any updates. Early life. Nahom Thornton Grymes aka Jay Holiday was born on 29 November in 1981. He was born in Washington D.C. His father was a preacher, his mother was a gospel singer, and growing up music had always been around him. His family noticed his great singing skills right from an early age. They used to keep requesting to ask him to sing. When he grew up, his cousins used to ask him to sing to attract female attention. This gave him the confidence that people would stop and listen to him when he sang. When Jay was 11 years old, his father passed away after keeping his illness hidden for too long. He only told his family once he knew there was not much time left. While talking about his father in an interview, he said, "A lot of people think he's still alive because of the way I talk about him. A lot of the struggling that I've been through was because of that situation. Nobody was prepared for it. My mum, that's my best friend. But looking back, everything happens for a reason. That's what got me here." Jay was mostly raised by his mother and it was the desire to make her proud that didn't let him get into much trouble. Jay was a huge fan of Marvin Gaye, Boyz II Men, Tupac Shakur, R. Kelly. It was after listening to these people that he decided to professionally pursue singing, much to his mother's dismay. Jay first took part in his school's competition to see if he had any potential of singing on the stage. In the early 2000s, Jay formed a group with some of his buddies and decided to call it 295. The group recorded some demos, but none of the producers were interested in signing them. At the same time, his group mates also started losing interest and he found himself as the only one whose passion was the driving force behind keeping the group going. 295 even landed a meeting with the big-time producer L.A. Reid, but that didn't solidify into anything. Their demos had already circulated around the industry, so Jay decided to record some new ones, but this time as a solo artist. In 2003, he officially left the group and decided to embark on his solo journey. His new demos did their thing and soon Capitol Records were interested in signing him. Debut album. After securing a record deal with Capitol Records in 2006, Jay was ready to work on his debut album. He titled the album Back of My Lack, and to this day, it's his most successful album. It sold 105,000 copies in its first week. The first single from it released was Be With Me. It didn't do much for Jay, but the second single called Bed proved to be a game changer for him. The song debuted at 89th position, but due to its wild popularity, it went on to peak at the 5th position on the Billboard Hot 100 chart. On the Hot R&B chart, it went on to claim the first spot and stayed there for 5 consecutive weeks. Jay's third single, Suffocate, also did exceedingly well and it cemented his position as a rising star. From his first album, the songs Bed and Suffocate totally hit it out of the park. His name was mentioned on every artist to look out for list. When he first heard the lyrics of Bed, he knew the song had major hit potential. When The Dream told him about the song, he also mentioned that Chris Brown was really keen on recording it, so he asked Jay to hurry up if he wanted it. Jay bought the song immediately and recorded it on the same night. When Chris Brown learned that the song had been sold, he was angry with The Dream, but Nash told him it was just business. When he was promoting his first album, he talked about his process as a writer. "When I'm writing a song for me, it has to be something that I've personally been through. I have to be able to relate to it. I can't ever just sing something that I haven't been through or don't know anything about. As for writing for someone else, I can just write from whatever. It can be maybe something I know someone else has been through or whatever." String of flops. After such a promising debut album, everyone had high expectations from Jay. He had described his style as street soul and people liked what they heard in his first album. Instead of capitalizing on the success of his first album, his label advised him to change his sound a bit. They wanted him to be more soulful and mellow like a true R&B singer. In 2009, Jay released his second album Round 2, which only sold 55,000 copies in its first week, way lower than his first album. The album had only one single, It's Yours. It peaked at 25 25th position on the Hot 100 chart. The album did not perform well and the label blamed Jay for it. After seeing the number his second album pulled, the record company was giving a hard time to Jay for the budget of his third album. They kept on putting it on hold and eventually Jay decided to leave the label for good. In 2010, Jay signed with Def Jam and started materializing his third album. His experience with Def Jam wasn't good as well. He ended up leaving them too. After a long delay, his third album, Guilty Conscience, was released in 2014 and it performed even more poorly than Round 2. It peaked at 42nd position on the Top 100 R&B chart. The album was released under his independent record label Holiday Music Group. Jay told in an interview what the most difficult part of being an executive producer for his album was. The biggest challenge is meeting the buyers from different conglomerates. It's just about different places where you can get the album. For them, it's a money game and a numbers game. The break I took probably hurt me in that aspect when it came to stuff like, why should we have your album in stores? Beyonce is coming out. Actually, Beyonce put her album out right around that time and she kind of took that attention away. Those are definitely things that you have to think about. You have to worry about if Beyonce is going to throw an album out with 7 videos to go with it. That was just a learning process in itself. Jay recently announced that he's working on his 4th studio album, Time, and would release it soon. Many fans think that no doubt Jay was a talented artist, but it was either the industry politics or his own attitude that made him fall so quickly. In the music scene, he has made an impact in 2009, and since the past 11 years, so many new artists have come and conquered it. Jay may not have the biggest records, but he thinks his success is that he is still able to do what he loves. Love life. Jay Holiday is notoriously private about his love life, so much so that to this day, even his fans haven't figured out who he has dated. He was last photographed with a woman in 2007 whose name wasn't disclosed, but since then, he has been successful at keeping his love affairs private. All that is known about his personal life is that he hasn't gotten married or had any kids yet. Recent scandals. Today, people don't know Jay Holiday for his monstrous hits like Bed or Suffocate. They know him as the guy who keeps getting in trouble and then getting trolled. Jay made an Instagram video talking about who he considered as the king of R&B. He was about to tell his top 3 when someone on the road asked him if he was valet. The internet was quick to create memes out of the situation, and it was a cruel reminder that people don't really know that this guy once possessed a threat to Chris Brown's career. Whatever happened in that video was totally unpredictable. Even he wouldn't have guessed that people would mercilessly troll his downfall, but then for the Grammys 2018, he did something whose result anyone could have predicted, but as it turned out, Jay Holiday wasn't that anyone. He talked about the lack of diversity in Grammy nominations. It was going well until he was advocating that black male artists were not getting enough credit, but then without any warning, he started calling out iconic black female artists like Beyonce, Cardi B, and SCA for only getting nominated because they were showing black men in a bad light. Soon after he uploaded the video, Twitter was flooded with all kinds of reactions. Understandably, the fandoms of the 3 mentioned artists were furious, but even those who weren't fans thought he called them out unnecessarily just out of bitterness. People who became Jay's fans after listening to his first album are only hoping for a successful comeback and want him to show his potential in songs just like he last did in 2007. If you liked this video, please subscribe to our channel and hit that bell button to get the notifications. Also, don't forget to watch other videos on this channel that explore more topics like this.